Very good. You
So
see,
let's start this.
too much high tech here.
Yes, huh? Especially on the phone, it's so tiny. Maybe it's easier on an iPad, I don't know, but on the phone, me, I have a big one, so it's easier.
Okay, maybe I should buy iPad because I have iPhone
Yeah,
number 8,
okay,
which I don't use that much, and then I have a laptop computer,
okay.
which I use a lot.
Yeah, yeah. No, but we're gonna succeed in that, you know.
Yes.
It's
So when you share this with other people, all the 15 minutes of our initial struggle will not be part of our conversation. Yes,
you
this is
know,
about freedom and beauty.
exactly.
So no struggle.
Yeah. So, it's part of the process. We have
Yes,
to
thank
go
you.
with it.
Yes,
It's no problem.
yes.
And you are not the only one, and everybody goes through this, with the technology. It's
Hmm.
it's really sometimes I'm stuck, but I learn and
Because of this opportunity you gave me with this Instagram. Now
yeah,
I have two accounts of Instagram.
yeah,
One is used on the computer and the one here,
yeah.
exclusively for our conversation.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yes.
You see how much progress in few days. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
interesting, huh?
I used to have a computer expert as my consultant, and he did everything for me.
Yeah,
As a result, I got very spoiled. But now, with this lockdown and everything, I have to learn
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah,
technologies. Yes.
yeah. It's obliged us to be with ourselves, huh? We
Yes.
found ways by ourselves.
Yes. But
It is,
now that we are at long last.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, Yasuhiko, there are so many things. I would love to know, because maybe a lot of people would love to know, who are you? How did you started about philosophy? What happened in your life that makes you going in this direction? This is what is interesting. How people start things, how people
Hmm.
make choices, take a direction. How it was for you?
Hmm. Um, so I was born uh, in Japan 1 year and 28 days before you were born in France.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, and the Japanese society, it was post World War II, about 10 years after, and there was a lot of pressure for us in going through schools.
Mm,
Japanese system of education is based on memorizing and repeating as anywhere else. And I happen to be pretty good at memorizing and repeating.
yeah.
And at an early age, I was an excellent student. And I got tremendous amount of pressure from my parents and schools, teachers.
Mm,
And my brother happened to be mentally challenged, handicapped.
yeah.
And I happened to be mentally gifted. And only two brothers.
Yeah.
Tremendous pressure was put upon me. And life was not, for example, if I didn't get the perfect score at 100, say 98 or 99, my teacher asked me, "What happened to you, Yasuhiko?" So a lot of pressure. And at the same time, the school subject was extremely boring,
Mm,
and pressure and boredom at the same time. And I begin to really suffer from life.
mm,
So I remember as a child, my life was a total suffering. I
mm.
can totally identify with Buddhist First Noble Truth, life is suffering. It was a tremendous suffering. The Japanese Buddhist term suffering, dukkha, means too narrow to breathe.
Oh,
So suffering in the sense of existential suffocation. And that was exactly the experience I had as a child. And by being an exceptionally good student, I was also kind of ostracized from my fellow students. So I was lonely, pressured, suffocated. So I wanted to find out.
Uh-oh. We have a trouble of connection. Oh no. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was,
Okay. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
So my childhood was a tremendous suffering. And around the time of, let's say, 12, 13 years old, I began to read books on philosophy, seeking a meaning, purpose of life, meaning of life, and Buddhism, Taoism, Western philosophy. And I asked the question, who am I? And what's the purpose of my life? So I had a early awakening into philosophical questions into life. And around 2 days before, I couldn't find the answer as a young person. I couldn't ask anybody those kind of questions. When I asked these questions, he said, I don't know what's the purpose of human life. So nobody knew the purpose of life. And that my teachers, my parents, no adults could answer my question. So I have to seek in the books and wise people in the past. But somehow I could not get the satisfactory answer. And 2 days before my 16th birthday, I decided to commit suicide and leave this world.
Wow.
Yeah. It was so exactly 2 days before my 16th birthday. But I didn't want, at that time I was away from my family, in a kind of a high school for mentally gifted kind of a school. So away from my parents. And but I didn't want to, my parents to know that I committed suicide. I wanted to make my life, death, as natural or accidental as possible, so that nobody knew that I committed suicide. So
Wow.
I started to think about the perfect way to die, so that nobody knew that I committed suicide. It was Saturday. My birthday was Monday, and my birthday is national holiday. So that's 3 day,
Free.
3 days. And then, so I began to think about the perfect way to die around maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. And I was there like 3, 4, 5 hours, completely focused on how to die perfectly. Somehow, all of a sudden, the whole room became light.
Wow.
Everything turned into light. And I knew at that moment the purpose of life, purpose of existence, and all the questions I was asking myself. And from the depression to euphoria in a few minutes. Probably because I was so focused on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We lost you.
Yes,
we lost you when you were saying that it's maybe because you were so focused on that, that this happened.
So my mind was so mindful that I went into no mind, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I got download of some knowledge about the universe and about life, and that was the beginning of my new life into a new kind of wonderment. So after enlightenment, what comes is wonderment. And because this knowledge of this cosmic truth does not make you knowledgeable. it opens your mind and consciousness into the greater and greater unknown and unknowable. So you begin to become able to ask questions for the first time. So after that was more like a life of wonderment and asking questions and re-asking the same questions and go deeper and deeper into, secret of life.
Yeah.
So I became a Buddhist priest, and they sent me to again, when I became a Buddhist priest, I didn't realize they were grooming me to be the Buddhist Pope. So I left one group of people who had so much expectation on me, whatever expectation they had. I freed myself, and I was in a Buddhist organization studying Buddhism and meditating. Now I realized a group of people grooming me to be a pope, and I didn't want to do that. So again, I left the Buddhist organization, and ever since, how old was I? Like 27 or 8, I have been on my own, not belonging to any organization, not having any disciples, just investigating life and sharing the result of my investigation so far with people.
Yeah.
So I like your approach. You ask questions, and I spoke about and I also wrote about beauty. I spoke about and wrote about freedom.
Yeah.
But I have not really spoken about or wrote about or even thought about the connection between freedom and beauty. Yeah. So I love this subject, beauty and freedom, because it gives me an opportunity to, further investigate into the secret of the universe, so to say. Yes.
Yeah. One thing I would love to know about, it's just to know, when did you started to come in the US?
Okay, so
you started to decide that. How this did happen?
Okay, so this Buddhist organization sent me to India to study ancient, Indian philosophy. And I was in India for 3 years and studied Indian philosophy between the age of 23 to 27. And then went back to Japan, and then I realized they want to, put me in the course of becoming a Buddhist Pope. So I said, no, thank you. Thank you very much for those opportunities. I had met wonderful people, and I got amazing amount of instructions into meditation. But now, time for me to leave any kind of organizations. And then while I was in India, I met some people from California, Americans. And they told me that, the new things are happening in California. Spirituality, the new spirituality is the mecca of new spirituality in California. So I said, okay, let me check it out.
Yeah.
So in 1983, June 27th, I arrived in San Francisco. So I was 28, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's June 27th, and I was thinking California, it is June summer, so it must be very warm. So I was on my t-shirts and jeans, and then arrived in San Francisco. Wow, it was cold.
Yes. Like often.
People wearing a fur coat, and said, wow, what's I'm going to do? But anyway, so within 1 month, I left San Francisco, went to Southern California, Los Angeles. Much warmer, and then I didn't need to buy anything new to wear. Yes. So I was 28 years old, and then that year, 1993, when I went to Los Angeles, my girlfriend, who actually took me to Los Angeles, who was from a place called Holmby Hills, whatever that was, near Beverly Hills.
Uh-huh.
And she, showed me around Los Angeles, and we went to Beverly Hills. And at that time, there was a book shop named Hunter's Books on Beverly Drive.
Mm-hmm.
I entered this bookstore, and somewhere, far away in the corner, there was a strong pull, very strong pull. So I was just went there, and I saw the book called Synergetics by Buckminster Fuller. I knew nothing about Buckminster Fuller. And I opened the book, and I was mesmerized by the book. I still have the book there. Well, yeah, Synergetics. And that was then same kind of experience happened 2 more times while I was in the 1 year period. So Buckminster Fuller. Then there's another book in a different bookstore in West Los Angeles. I don't remember the name of the bookstore. The book named Origin of Consciousness in the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind by a psychologist named Julian Jaynes. And that's another book really opened my eyes. And then a few months later, in another bookstore, again, same thing happened. And I found this name, Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged. And it was like, for 3 days, I didn't sleep. I just read the whole book in 1 or 2 days without any interruption. And so Synergetics, Origin of Consciousness, and Atlas Shrugged. Those are 3 books that opened my path into a new inquiry into the secret of the universe and human life. And Ayn Rand opened my eyes to, politics, and outer freedom, liberty. Then I began to read Founding Fathers' writings. I especially liked Thomas Paine. He is truly my soulmate. And then after that, I began to go back in the Western philosophy, and I realized that the basic ideas of Founding Fathers came from great genius philosopher Baruch Spinoza. So I studied Spinoza, and then went back again, and then I found somebody named Giordano Bruno. And Bruno's reading English translation of Bruno's ideas, I gained a new vocabulary to speak about the vision I had when I was 17, 18 years old. And so my vision for the future of humanity using Bruno's language, I could put together. And then, so I studied, from Ayn Rand, I studied Western philosophy all the way back to Greeks. And I continued, the form of study. So it's, I'm an investigator, and I just continue to inquire and learn and think and rethink. And so I don't know if I answered your question, or maybe I answered too much of it.
Interesting, really interesting, because I have the same experience as you with books. And I think it's because at our higher self or our consciousness, we are connected with the frequency of this author, and bring us in this material world to be able to put words, to relate with what we feel deep inside. Because I had exactly the same experience with you in library with books. Suddenly it's like someone is ticking on my shoulder. I turn, I see a book, I take what it is, and here I have Awakening of Intelligence by Krishnamurti.
Oh, yes, that's a
And I'm
beautiful book.
20 years old and I don't understand anything. And many books like that. It has been, I must say, for the first 20 years of my life, when from 18 to almost 40, it has been like that.
Mm.
And these books really came in my life at a special time when it was always like that. And the last one that I had this experience was in a library in Corsica, and with a book that unfortunately is not in English, but it's called The Mother, La Cellule Mère, The Mother Cell, by Zamperini, that is a scientist, Italian scientist, and it's in French. And this book, I went there in this library mess to look for a book for my granddaughter to make her a gift. I did not find what I want, and suddenly, down under a shelf, I see a pile of books, and this one attracted me. And when I took it, it was so heavy, and it was so expensive. I said, wow. But I opened, and I knew I had to take it. So I took it. And when I started to read the book, I realized that all my experiences about resonance, frequency, vibration was explained there in that book in a very simple way by a scientist who dedicated all his life about that. And it was like closing something and making something unshored in my consciousness that never been like that before. And the library is called the Library of the Sun.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So I went for a gift for my granddaughter, but in fact, I discovered something that make me able now to speak in a different way about this phenomenon of when we go in resonance with something we don't know, we are attracted. And maybe this is a link with beauty and freedom that we can make, because if we follow this attraction because we found something beautiful that attracts us, that make us vibrating, and we are free to go and do it or take it or go with it, we feel good. There is something there. The beauty is not obliged to be the physical one. It can be the beauty of a sound, the beauty of an event, the beauty of like what is going on in Canada right now. It's beautiful. This is beauty. And this, it's like feeling us really deep. We are attracted, we don't know why, but by the phenomenon of resonance, there is a reason why we are attracted by that. Because that thing vibrate or have a property, a quality that maybe we thirst for it. Maybe we want to integrate that more, or to awaken with that more, or to, but to be able to, we have to be free to be able to let go the process, to don't say, oh, this is silly, this is nothing, this is stupid. But you know what I mean? We have to embrace that. And it's fantastic.
Yes. So this morning I was thinking about our conversation. As I said, I had never really thought about beauty and freedom in the same way and in the same complex of thought. And I wrote a few things, and I just want to share with you, and then we can unpack it. Okay. So beauty is a language of light, expressed and experienced. Light is the substance of the causative dimension of reality. And language of light is a language, logos, Tao, Dhamma, with which nature, the whole of cosmic existence, is composed, and in which the drama of the universe is written. The space-time is the original creation out of the infinite, upon which the drama of the universe is being written, and thus dramatic universe creatively unfold. All that of which we are conscious it's okay. Maybe we should stop there because
it's a lot, because we should take
yeah.
sentence by sentence.
So you see, beauty. When we experience beauty, let's go back. You know, everything that we are conscious of is effect. Even when scientists talks about cause and effect, they basically talk about the priority of effect, the structure of effect, and then something chronologically comes before something else. So this is a cause, or something is ontologically more primary than others. It is a cause. But everything that the scientist talks about is an effect, because cause is super sensible, suprasensible, and supra-perceptible. And when you experience beauty, somehow through sensation and perception, we get in touch with the causative dimension of the universe, reality, light. And this light, as I talk about, is not more like another name for divinity. It is not the light that physicists talk about. Everything, you see, that light is actually invisible. Everything we see, everything we hear, everything we touch, everything with which we have access, sensory and perceptual access, are an effect of light reflecting on something. And some things are also made of light. So the light I'm using is a little larger concept than the light of physicists. There have been two scientists who actually inquired into the dimension of cause in the way that we are talking about. Not the series of effect, but the real cause, which is invisible. One is Roger Boschkovich, who is 18th century polymath, who discovered inconsistency in Newtonian physics and Leibniz physics, and he corrected them. In the process, he combined into this. And he identified as this massless point of force to be the causative element of the universe, which permeates the entirety of the universe. Another person, which is 20th century Da Vinci, people call him, Walter Russell, who was an artist, scientist. Artist means he did the drawings, the painting, the sculpting, and the architecture, and he was also a musician, composer, pianist, and organist, and he was a philosopher and spiritual teacher who had the cosmic illumination when he was like 49, 50 years old. And he developed a scientific model based on the knowledge of causative dimension. There are two scientists, as far as I know, who really knew what cause is, not the series of effect. And but you see, creative artists, musicians, who bring beauty into this world, they are in touch with that dimension, the causative dimension of reality, nature, and the universe. You can call it God, you can call it divine, whatever you call. I call it light. And this light, the language of light, they somehow decode the language of light and transcribe into human language, sounds, paintings, architecture. And Beethoven talks about the celestial music, which he is trying to translate into terrestrial music, But no matter how great his composition is, it's nothing compared to that music that he can actually hear. So music, through the experience of beauty, we get in touch with the dimension of the universe, dimension of nature, and dimension of reality. That is causative. That is like at the core, at the source of this whole creation. And humans, artists like you, our good friend Belinda, and my wife too, who are artists, get in touch with this dimension and they express it. It is a kind of a transcription of that which is available. And those causative dimension is beyond time and space. Actually, time space is the original creation. It's like a canvas upon which the divine consciousness paint or play music. You don't play music on the canvas, but you know what I mean. The space in which the music is played. And so we see the expression, but through this expression, we get in touch with something that is beyond that expression. And greater than an artist, and greater the vision of beauty you have, the more of the language of light that we can actually experience. And when we have that experience, there is what we call spiritual experience. The experience of beauty is the closest to this, what we call, or not closest, is an expression of spiritual experience. And then everything is there, actually. There is a truth beyond space-time. There's love that is transpersonal. It is not just, human love, but there's, of course, including the human love, but there's something more than just love we talk about. This only word we have today is divinity, divine experience. And so beautiful artwork, beautiful musical composition, or beautiful architecture, beautiful anything, bring people into that world, which is causative, not effect, just an effect.
Yeah.
And remember, in my program on freedom, I talk about freedom is in the state of being at cause. When you are not affected by anything, but you are being at cause, that state is freedom. Now we can make the connection between beauty and freedom in this way. Because when you are at cause, you are actually resident in the causative dimension of nature, causative dimension of the universe, and causative dimension of reality. And that's where the source of beauty lies. So the more of the experience, the beauty you have, the freer you are. So that is to me, that I thought about this morning, actually, but it is and I'm pretty clear that, we stumbled upon something here together. There's a connection between beauty and freedom.
Oh yeah, and it really speaks to me, because I experiment this so many times when I am creating art, or when I am in this creation. I am somewhere beyond time and space.
Yes.
I feel it. And it's a great feeling, because it's like when I go in the desert, every time the feeling I have is I can die now. I'm fulfilled. Right now I'm fulfilled. I don't need anything more. And it's such a feeling of timelessness and freedom and expansion. And when I do my things, it is like it is, my pictures, or when I saw, for example, when I'm in a crisis mode of sewing and making clothes, and I can stay days, hours, night, day, and I'm out of this notion of time and space, and it's a very, very, very good feeling.
Yes, and it is infinite and eternal. Yes, it is beyond space and time. And I often say to people, I'm fulfilled, but never satisfied. Because no matter how I express it, it is not good enough.
Yeah, because
so I continuously challenging myself to improve upon my expression.
Because I think there is a part of us, like someone say, oh, this is beautiful. I say, yeah, but it's not because we don't find it beautiful. It's not because we reject our creation. It's just because we have somewhere deep inside this consciousness of it's something, and we want to bring it more of it.
Exactly, absolutely.
In the creation. And it's not because it's not perfect, because for me, I am in a way that things are perfect like they are in the time they are, because they are perfect in their imperfection, if we can say, that we're gonna go deeper, polish more, bring something more created from that to make something even more beautiful.
Yes.
It's like, but it was not imperfect. It was perfect for us to be in this process of going to create something even more. That is maybe even more this manifestation of this light, as you say, and it's like, it's with enthusiasm. That means being with God, and with the divine, and it's fantastic process. But I have a question. That maybe the question is, where is coming that light from?
From itself.
Yeah. So this means that what we do is to come from ourselves.
Well said.
Because we are carrier of that light, expressing that. It's
Actually,
for that these 2 years is oblige us to be with ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. See, only causation there is self-causation. Yes. Yeah. If something else is causing, you are not the cause. And there is what we can call self-causation, which is causation. And through the experience of beauty, or through the experience of spiritual illumination, we actually get in touch with that dimension. We actually merge into this. And that dimension of human intelligence, we can call spiritual intelligence, where the knower is the known, is knowing, where the observer is the observed, is observation, where the creator is the created and the creation. There's no separation. There's one movement of the wholeness. And speaking of perfection, it's almost like this. When the flower opens, then new possibility opens up for the next layer of flower to open up. So it is a perfection here. But then the moment it opens, the involution happens, and then potentiation of a new possibility takes place, and then actualization of that possibility happens, and you achieve perfection. But then another possibility comes, because infinity is infinite. So nothing finite can actually ever exhaust it. So, but you see, so perfection, and then the moment you achieve perfection, it becomes kind of imperfection, and then go on and on. That's the beauty of evolutionary process. And we continue on with this process until the end of our lives, and people can carry on after we are gone. Yes, I love classical music, and I never listen to any piece of classical music I don't like, but there are some I like more, and I like many composers, but some I like more than others. And if I have to choose one composer I fully identify, is Beethoven. And he composed so many great masterpieces. That makes him a great genius. But some pieces, how can he improve upon this? For example, when piano concerto, there are 5 piano concertos. So there's 3. Amazing. How can anybody compose better piano concerto? 4. How can anybody? 5.
Yeah.
And if he lived longer, he will have a 6 and 7 symphony the same way.
Yeah.
It does not end the symphony number 9. Wow. I mean, how can you go even further than that? It was like a perfection. Amazing. But that happened like a symphony number 5. That was like a new, he not only composed a piece of music, he actually opened up a new possibility for a music as such.
Yeah.
Number 5. It is a true masterpiece. But then he went on to compose 7 and compose 9. I happen to like odd number symphonies and even numbers. But then even numbers, you find few chapters, few movements. That's amazing. So it's like he was in touch with definitely divine dimensions, and somehow he used his creativity to bring that into human experience.
Oh yeah.
And comparing to celestial music he was listening to, no masterpiece he produced was good enough, and he went on and on. Same applies to many of the composers, and so genius is the humblest group of people, because they are so humble that they continue to expand their horizon.
Yeah, and it's an amazing process, but I guess it's the process of life itself in our bodies that always want to regenerate, to all these cells that are dying all the time and the ones that are coming again, and it's a process of life, and this life and the light that we carry, that it's fascinating to me.
Do you know, to get in touch with divine intelligence, to study body is much better than studying mind.
Yeah.
It's amazing piece of work. And the intelligence that exists within the body is way, way, way beyond medical science has ever achieved so far.
Yeah.
And then when we begin to see how amazing piece of creature that our body is, we begin to have the sense of the divine intelligence.
Yeah.
Because there's an element of divinity to this. So another aspect of beauty, since it is an expression of the language of light, which is language of wholeness and language of freedom, it has a harmonic to this. And that harmonic of the beauty heals, because to heal is to make whole. And so when people actually encounter a beautiful piece of artwork or music, it naturally heals, because fragmentation that is taking place in our mind begin to cease, and then mind become harmonized, and emotion become harmonized, and body's disturbances become harmonized. So beauty has a healing impact. And unfortunately today people compose music which is opposite of healing, is more like a disturbance.
Yeah.
And people's sensibility has been so numbed that the music that is a disturbance become popular. It is like just a glorified noise becomes called music, and they even get the award in Hollywood.
Because the frequency, I experimented that when I have my friend Sandra, who comes and does tuning fork session.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do that, my face after is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Much more beautiful. It's like, wow, something in 1 hour, 1 hour session. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Change.
Mm.
And it's normal. We are made of water mostly, and these frequencies, these harmonic, regulate
Mm-hmm.
and bring in balance, in harmony, everything.
Yes.
It's flowing
Yes.
well, and
Yes.
and
Yes.
the whole thing can, carry the light. And it's
Yes.
true. And my eyes, when she does the session, are totally different. She said, wow,
Yes.
the light that is in your eyes. Yeah.
So most, actually not most, every religion has a ritual which include sometimes as a prominent part the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
In a Buddhist monastery, we use gong.
Yeah.
And we recite scriptures, but it sounds like more like music. And so we self-heal by reading the scriptures and listen to the gong. Yeah, I saw you doing. Yes. Mhm. Yes, exactly. Yes. Wow, that's beautiful.
By Belinda and John, I've been inspired being with.
Yes, Belinda sent me the
Oh,
video of John playing that gong. Yes.
it's so beautiful.
Yes. And human voice as well. Some people
Yeah.
have amazing voice, and that is healing. Yes. So one thing that connect the beauty and the freedom is wholeness.
Mm.
When you are free, you are at one with the whole. People have this notion of free will. We don't have free will. We have freedom, yes, but not free will.
Mm.
That's a different conversation than, but it is, you see, it is when you are tuned into the whole, you are free.
Mm-mm.
You do not move, you do not think in discordance with the whole when you are free. So freedom, again, is a function or expression of wholeness, which is infinite and eternal. Again, it is a language of light expressing itself in human form.
Yeah.
And, in Buddhism, we talk about form and formless. Form is effect. Formless is cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we are talking about, in my class, Dogen Shobo Genzo Genjo Koan, the first sentence is about effect. Second sentence is about cause.
Mm-mm.
Everything and nothing. Nothing is very rich.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yes.
it's very, I'm very happy that I'm part of the group that Belinda introduced me to you. And
Yes.
because I was speaking before we did our video this morning with a friend who is in Madagascar.
Mm-hmm.
And we always have very deep conversation. And she's in a time of her life when I told her about what I engaged with you on these 6 months, of studying about masterizing inner and outer freedom. She was like, oh yeah, I need something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, but Yasuhiko gonna do a new session, and I wanted to tell about that because you're gonna start a new session. I think it's in Mars.
Yeah, Mastering Inner and Outer Freedom program.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months program. So this course is about, you see, in the most fundamental sense, we are all free.
Mm.
You don't need to become free. When we become free, freedom is becoming freedom. At the same time, it is important to be reminded. And so in one sense, my program is about people recollecting and realizing that they're free.
Yeah.
And mastery comes in that recollection and realization and living that realization. So, and also it requires a courage to really be free.
Mm-mm.
It is easy to be a victim, and it is easy to be affected. It requires a courage to remain being at calms.
Mm.
So we discuss freedom. We read some books on freedom or spiritual development, and we kind of support each other in our own journey in greater and greater freedom. And also, new element to this is like application of Buddhist concept of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattvas are those awakened beings who involve themselves in society and who involve other people in the development of greater and greater inner freedom and spiritual awakening. And so my program, I consider every participant to be a bodhisattva of inner and outer freedom. So our work together is not only our ongoing development of inner freedom, but also involving others in their own lives into the greater achievement, the ongoing achievement of freedom. And few things happens, when we consciously master freedom, we each becomes a philosopher of freedom. Being human, we involve body, mind, spirit in everything we do. So mind will develop, our intellect will develop our own philosophy.
Yeah.
So in the process, each become a philosopher. And when you study the people who created this country in the 18th century, although very few are actually considered to be philosophers because they are busy acting in action, they are highly developed philosophers. Typical example, maybe, Thomas Jefferson. And he studied the philosophy all his life, all the way to the end of his life. And after he retired from public life, he continued to study philosophy. He happened to know many different languages, so he could read Greek and Latin, stuff like that. So he was studying Greek philosophy, Roman philosophy, and underneath this Declaration of Independence and Constitution, there's a profound philosophy underlying, and anybody who is a revolutionary in the freedom movement is bound to become a free thinker and free thinking philosopher. So my program is designed for each person to become a free thinker and philosopher of freedom, and involving others in their own lives in doing the same. And today we are under a tremendous pressure and challenge of tyranny.
As we know.
Yes,
but I guess it's a necessary condition to catalyze, make.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, look, Canadian truckers, convoys, they are philosophers in action. it is not just an emotional reaction to, oppression and tyranny. When you watch them, when you listen to them, they are actually expressing their philosophy of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a beauty to what they're doing. So freedom is expressed, philosophy is expressed, and beauty is expressed.
Yes.
And the writings of founding fathers are beautiful. They were good writers. Maybe Thomas Paine was the best writer.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Hamilton, he was also an amazing writer, although I don't necessarily agree with him, philosophically speaking, but it doesn't matter. That's another thing. We don't need to agree with each other to come together to create a movement of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, thinking people disagree. And you have a different point of view from me, from mine. It is different. It is not antagonistic or oppositional. People see different perspective as opposing to them. And that's why they can't have a communication. Instead of acknowledging different perspectives as different from yours, and then begin to have a conversation. And in the process, both will be enriched. And that's another thing people need to realize. The founding fathers rigorously disagreed.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, they were able to come up with something amazing together.
Yeah, it's because it's always what I say. It's our differences is our richness.
Yes.
And when we create from how different we are from others, we bring something beautiful for the world, because it's not like a stereotype of the same thing, monotonous, that can be like boring, It's this diversity is amazing, and it's everywhere in nature, and it's everywhere in us. We are part of nature. So it's not by chance that we are all made different.
Mm.
There is somewhere a reason for that.
Yes. So Mozart is different from Beethoven.
Yeah.
Bach is different from Handel. And each piece that they produced, composed, has their soul's signature.
Yeah.
And amazing thing about evolution of human consciousness is that the more evolved you become, the more individuated, unique, and singular you become.
Yeah.
So when you listen to Beethoven's early compositions, when he was like in early 20s, in the mid 20s, it is not really easy to distinguish his composition from Mozart or Haydn. But toward the end of his 20s and early 30s, definitely, now you know it is Beethoven's music. The more he developed as a composer, the more unique he became.
Yeah, and it's the same for what I said to people, because sometimes people tell me, as I am 66, oh, you, even since 10 years ago, you are not worried about competition with all other women. I say, I don't care about that. And more I age, more I will be different. And each of us, older woman, more we age and more we will be on our individuality.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is different, and I'm not at all concerned by this thing.
Yeah.
No, like competition, and I really don't care about that, because I know I am unique. And some people will need someone like me, and some people will need someone like someone else. And it's no problem. There is room for everyone.
Yes. Human mind designed to compare.
Mm.
But since that experience when I was 16 years old, I became free from few things. One is comparing myself to other people.
Yeah.
And second is start to be concerned about what other people think of me or say about me. And, so social status, recognition, all those things are none of my business. But, I have no control over other people's thoughts anyway. So why should we bother with what other people think of me?
Yeah.
And so it's really, but you can use a comparison with, okay, I wrote this, and then how I can improve. In that sense, you can compare. Comparison may be just about your ability to express something. Otherwise, we are so different.
Yeah.
You can't really compare. And the comparison is always quantitative. And quantity does not exhaust humans. It's like an IQ test. Okay, somebody has a higher IQ than other people, but it is an aspect of intelligence. It is not the whole of intelligence. And the intelligence is more qualitative. So somebody who has two people have the exact same IQ, they are different. And their quality of their intelligence is different. And that is what we have to pay attention to,
Yeah. It's, but when we are not worried about what others are thinking, this is freedom.
Yes, it is a freedom.
Good. It's such a nice feeling,
Yeah.
And it's like to show you as you are.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. It's like, you don't care. And it's really a feeling that brings a lot of peace and pleasure. It's like,
yes.
You don't have to pretend anything. You don't have to show you in a way that is not really you, to hide anything, to be like, for me, this is freedom.
Yes. Japanese culture is people are completely bound by that, there was a great spiritual teacher, George Gurdjieff, who had a lot of interesting ideas, one of which is called internal considerations. The internal consideration basically is consideration or concern for what other people think of oneself. So the Japanese culture, Japanese society is just like an internal consideration culture. So when I came to the United States, I was looking forward to a culture where people are more independent and don't care about what other people think of. It's like you can speak freely in Japan, and come to the United States, the same. Maybe a little less, but it is getting worse, actually. It has gotten worse in the last 20-some years. So, this maybe I can say to people, just be free from these internal considerations. Your life will be much, much easier.
Oh, yeah. It's freeing. It is like, it's like that thing, that light or that supreme can really flow as it is. It has to flow.
Yes.
There is no interference for the ego, say, maybe I should not say that, or maybe I should not look like that, or maybe because who cares? It's because you lose energy when you focus on that, when you don't want to do it because you don't have the right makeup, or you don't have the right hair that day, or you don't do things. There is always something that is not right. Don't want, it's always like pretext to don't go and do the thing.
I agree. And Gurdjieff has another concept paired to the internal consideration. It's called external consideration. It is about caring for other people.
Oh yeah.
So you do things out of the care for other people. So it is not because you are concerned about what others think of you, but what you think of them, and what's the best way to deal with the person, based on your external consideration.
Yeah.
Society will just transform in just shifting from internal consideration based culture to the external concern based culture, and it does not really take much. Really, just realize one thing: you really have zero control over what other people think of you.
Yeah.
Really, absolutely zero control. So everything that you are concerned about, you have zero control over. You may do amazing thing,
Yeah.
but there'll be always people who criticize you.
Yeah.
You cannot change their mind. So
Sure.
why bother? Instead, let's say how I can actually contribute to the person at this moment the best. And how I can express this in the best way so that I can communicate to the other person. And when you put that attention there, and whatever other people say, that is really not, you have done your best.
It's like also to don't do things because we think we are not enough or not enough good to do it or not. In fact, it's more simple. If you speak or if you do things with your heart, it flows. People are going to feel, people are going to understand, they're going to vibrate on that.
Yes.
If you do things that is too much thinking, I calculated, it's not flowing the same way. Because the simplicity, you're going to bring it as you are in the moment, even if some people are going to say, oh, this sounds silly, or this is, you don't care. It's just what flows in the moment, and you give that. You give that. And to be in that process of receiving and giving, no matter what, thinking about what others going to think, or you don't use the right precise word or that, people are going to be affected by the truth that is back of the way you give the thing that may not be perfect, but is the way it is as it is. And you can always, wonder, I feel that, how I can express that in a way that I would love that people be happy like me when I feel that, and I would love that they feel that. So how I can find a way to put the right words. After it's become like it's quite exciting actually to find the way to put the right words on the feeling you have that makes you happy, to be able to share with others, to be able to have others be happy as well. And it's for that I'm very happy to be part of the group, because I really have the feeling we are 21 in this group, and everybody has a different essence, express it differently. And I have the feeling, for me, it's very nourishing, because one gonna go in resonance with me and another one differently. And this gonna increase my ability to express myself more adequately, more properly in what I feel and I want to give.
Yes.
So it's the power of the group is fantastic.
Yes, I think so. It's an amazing group and amazing people. Yes.
Yeah. So from our beauty and freedom. Yeah, Yasuhiko. So what I would love that if you can send me the list of the free books you spoke. I will put them in the comment also. It can be interesting for some people. And people can reach you on your website.
Or email or Facebook. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or even on Instagram, you have messages function. So they
I have two Instagram. This one is designed for this.
Yeah.
The other one is more, and I can use my computer. So yes,
because
with my pictures.
If you are interested about the new session by the program.
Okay, I will do that. So my other Instagram is Genku World, and this one is Genku 999.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they will found that because this is going to be in the text. So like this, they can be in touch with you with message if they want to have more information or
Yes.
a little bit. And they can go on your website. And
thank you. Yes.
so me, I watch I think almost all the video you have on YouTube, the interview and all that. So you
Yeah.
Many
programs I have done so far is basically it is my desire, expression of my desire to find my playmates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in your course, in your group, I have 21 playmates.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So I want to have more playmates in the new course.
Yeah. So you may have one from Madagascar. She was
okay.
really like, it
That's
was
amazing.
like
That's amazing.
light. Oh yeah. And she tell me, oh, I don't know, because these days I'm reading all about Japanese book, say, oh, this sounds right, you know. So Mihaya, you may be contacted by her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So this is great. It will expand our worldwide net, you know, because we are from all around the world. So it's quite very interesting.
And thank you so much for your invitation.
Oh, you're welcome.
We discussed something that I haven't discussed before, and I learned how to use iPhone for the conversation, and I opened a new Instagram account, and many things happened, and this was a new experience, and I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. So have a nice Sunday, a nice weekend. Yasuhiko.
Yeah, same to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So you have to click somewhere. Yeah, so maybe you had some question. I'm gonna check. I would like to see if Yasuhiko is going out of the, I don't know, he did not. So let's see if I have some questions. So you will be able to see, voila, you will be able to see Yasuhiko website and to read about a lot of things actually. And let's see. Yeah, Belinda, I hope me too. But my friend from Madagascar already is really interested about that. It was sounding totally right for her. She may be watching us actually. And yeah, so there is no question, but you can ask and you can read about, and so see also, watch the YouTube video about Yasuhiko on YouTube. There are quite a lot, and it's quite very, very interesting. So I wish you a very good weekend, and at very soon. And check it out. I will put in the caption some information for you. Bye-bye.